Okay, so I'm just gonna be like totally honest with you. It's like uh it's 2:36 a.m. right now. Um I really wanted to get this video done. I'm really tired. I don't feel like talking to this camera right now, but I'm going to do it because we have to do things that we don't feel enough for yet. Let me just start the video now. All right, yep, story time with me at a late night or early morning hour at 2:30 a.m. All right, so it was during my last trip to the United States. Specifically, I was in Atlanta. Okay, so essentially, I was at a huge place called the Beltline. The Beltline is this big sidewalk that goes around the perimeter of the city, and it's where a lot of people walk and run through, and there's lots of things to do, lots of people to meet, lots of things happening since it's like right next to the heart of the city, and it's also just a general area. It's like a social place. It's a third place. So I was at one of the Beltline's many so-called free paint zones. Now these are places where street art, such as the use of regular paint or spray paint, is allowed legally. As a result, it curbs a lot of the illegal graffiti in the city. So I was there under, in that little area next to the skate park doing some spray painting, since it used to be a pastime for me to do art while I was living in Atlanta. It allowed me to make a lot of cool stuff that stayed up in a tangible way while also allowing me to meet tons of different people from around the city, different characters and different artists and just whoever happened to be coming down the Beltline that day. Now here's where we get to the topic of this video. Now I was doing my painting when a man walked up to me. He was older, he had gray hair, he was in maybe his 50s or his 60s. He had decent clothes on, maybe a bit thin for the weather since it was about like 55 out. Not terribly cold, but there's definitely a lot more you would want than, a simple sweater or something like that. So the man walks up to me and he's pretty chill, He asks me about what I'm making and he just takes a look and stuff. And I'm going to show a picture of what I actually made that day on the screen. Yeah, I hope that looks pretty cool. I think it does. Oh my God, my iPad fell. Oh no, 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 no. That was a good catch. I caught it. I don't think that was shown on camera though, was it? Probably not. I had like a whole flannel and another shirt on and another shirt under that, so I wasn't cold at all. I was gonna be out there for a while. But in any case, he was a pretty regular looking guy. Takes a look and everything, and it's just a pretty typical interaction when I'm painting over on the walls over there. It's nothing out of the ordinary. He tells me his name, and for this video, we're gonna call him Sergeant W. Sergeant W. Why is he called that? Well, it's because he's a veteran. We'll get to that part. After a certain point, he asks more about me. I tell him where I'm from, and he tells me that he's from Milwaukee, which makes us pretty similar in that regard. We're both from old, industrial northern cities, although I think Milwaukee is quite a bit nicer than the one I'm from, but that's besides the point. After we have a little conversation about cities and all that, then, Sergeant W tells me a bit about himself. He tells me that he's actually homeless, and he's living on the streets. It didn't change my perception of him. I've met tons of homeless people from my goofy street adventures around Atlanta, and the majority of them are just regular people who got into messed up situations in life. Some of them may have just lost a job. Some of them may have gotten hooked on drugs, and that derailed everything for them. There's a lot of things that can happen. Stuff happens. In this case, however, at least from what I can tell, obviously there's not a lot I can say, but it seems like he had a bit of a life before this, his little incident, whatever it was that tipped the dominoes and, put him out on the streets, reiterating the fact that he was a veteran, homeless veteran. And, I come from a family of veterans, so I have a basic idea of what being in the military is like and the benefits that you receive after it, discounts, blah, blah, blah. But I've only ever seen the good parts about it. Never in my life have I been fully exposed to the worst parts, the more shady parts of being in the military. It's always been poised as something that, if all goes wrong in my life, if school falls through, if I get into some huge situation where everything is derailed, well, I can just enlist in the military, and then I've got some sort of direction. That's definitely an option. That's for sure an option. I know in the current political climate, things are a bit more dicey. I don't want to get into that. This isn't the place for it. But, that's what's always been poised to me. If everything were to fall over in school and life, just sign up for the Navy. Boom. We as humans never consider the bad outcome in most instances. We never look at things through a clear lens, or at least a fully clear lens. It's not good to catastrophize, but, it's also something to keep in mind. We don't really consider things as much as we should. He asked if I had any social media, which I do have an account where I post my art on Instagram. Here it is. If you want to follow it, I don't promote it here on this channel because it's not really connected to what I'm doing here. It's just where I like to just spam what I make. Told me to take a picture of him and to make it into a silhouette. Told me this phrase, and I have to get my phone for it. Oh wait, I'm recording on my phone. Hold on, I have to go to my PC and do it. He told me to put this phrase on it. This is for a homeless vet, Sergeant Wilson. And in it, there's a picture of him. That's it, it's pretty simple. He didn't want me to put anything else, but he just mostly meant it as just that, a regular picture, for me to remember. He said he wanted me to take it and keep it for myself and just post on social media. No, that's really it, but not so much for getting any sort of likes or money off of it. He never followed me or put up, I don't know, like a Cash App QR code or anything with it. He just wanted me to post the picture. He continued telling me about his story and everything and the things that he saw. He gave his life to the military, fought in war zones, seen death of the worst kinds, gruesome stuff, of people who shouldn't have been in the battlefield, but were involved in the conflict anyway. For having to see this stuff, he was pretty lucid. He was pretty down to earth. It didn't really seem like he was going through it. Like, he seemed like he was, a regular dude. He was great at managing and compartmentalizing his pain. I didn't really find out much about his life before joining the military, so I can't speak to that. But he was definitely left with some scars after he served. Physical, probably. Mentally, well, from what he told me, he definitely has some. Despite all of his hard work, well, he got virtually nothing for it. His life fell apart afterward. He became homeless, and here he was. How exactly that part went down, we didn't have enough time to talk about that, but we can assume that it was something very difficult and something that takes a lot of perseverance and resilience to get through and still come on the other side and, maintain a sort of good spirit within you. He also dealt with racism too. He told me about all sorts of things about, being a black person in this world, possible danger, and things looking to screw you over, lurking at every single corner. It's truly a bit of a minefield whenever you're in any sort of minority or, even if you have trauma, it's just, the world can be a very messed up place. He saw the dangers of this world and all the messed up parts of it. Parts that I'm probably not even aware of yet in my old age. My old age. Look, okay, my young age, I meant. Look, I said old age because everybody at my school makes jokes about me being old just because I'm 18. I am not old. Please spam the comments saying I'm old, all right? If you're my friends. No, the rest of you guys, randoms, don't do it, please. Parts that I'm probably not even aware of in my young age. And don't get me wrong, I may have seen some stuff in my life, but I'm sure it can't compare it to what he's seen. He had been betrayed by so much of what he trusted and had lost it all. Everything I believe but his wife. I swear he mentioned to me that he had a wife, though she wasn't present when I talked to him. I was shocked to see he was even as calm as he was. Normally, under some such circumstances as that, it would break someone. That's the normal assumption, but he was calm. Maybe a bit on edge, and paranoid, which is natural for someone who's been through all he has and is also living on the streets as well, which is very dangerous, especially in somewhere like Atlanta. You gotta be a pretty strong person to do something like that, to get through that. He didn't ask me for money, and I have to be honest, I felt a bit scared pulling out my wallet. I don't have much money as is, I'm a broke student. I've made literally, why does the script say $2? I made $5 off of YouTube so far. It's something. I'm making money. It's just it's kind of rough out here. I'm not really doing this for the money right now. I said I had money in the car, and I said I would come back. He was skeptical of me. He was asking me, "Are you being honest? Are you going to come back, man?" He was insistent, even though I told him I leave behind all my stuff. I left behind all my spray paint cans and my bucket and all my supplies back over where I was still painting because I wasn't finished at the time. And I was going to have to come back. Plus, I'd spent like $30, $40, $50 on cans that day. That was a lot of money I'd be leaving behind. I was definitely going to come back. I can't blame him for wanting to be, not wanting to lose that single opportunity he had to be able to get money. Now, why did he want the money? didn't so much seem like, it wasn't any suspicious reason. Well, he wanted it for a legitimate reason. We'll get to that. We walked away from the paint walls and towards my car. He was telling me to be watchful of all the people who are around, He was telling me not to pull out my wallet in the open. Even though there's nobody visibly around by the time we got to near my car. He told me to even keep a knife or something for self-protection. He was genuinely worried for my safety. And once again, what he's saying makes sense. It's true. It's a dangerous world out here. Who knows who could have been lurking in all those bushes, everywhere over there. It's a public area, but you never know what can happen. I finally got around to giving him the money, and he wasn't just looking for any amount of money, like $10 or something like that. He wanted a specific amount, $26, to buy him and his wife some food from McDonald's, like a McGriddle or something like that. The thing I want to emphasize here is that he didn't want the money for any undisclosed reason, for any, who knows what he was going to buy. He wouldn't buy drugs or something like that. No, he just wanted a meal. And that's something I can't say no to. So I helped him out. I gave him the money and we talked a little bit longer. I only had $25 at the time. But he was like, it's cool. Like, I'll take it. And we talked a little bit longer, just about various topics, nothing out of the ordinary. He gave me some general safety tips and such. And then after that, he said bye. And it kind of sucks being someone who travels around, like everywhere, somewhere new the next day, somewhere new the next year. I'm visiting a new city every a couple months, and I'm moving to a new place like every 2 years. Hopefully in a later period of my life that'll stop because it's kind of getting old now. We then said bye, and he says, I'll see you again. To which I replied, feeling a bit bad, honestly, that, I don't know, man. I don't live here at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm going to see you again. And he was just pretty chill about it. Just says, I'll see you. And he walked away. Who knows if I ever see Sergeant Wilson again? Kind of like that Samurai Champloo ending, where Mugen, Jin, and Fu, they all just walk away, casually, bye. Not knowing if they'll ever see each other again, not knowing if they'll ever cross paths again. I don't know. They seem pretty confident that they would, but you never really know. Things happen, life happens, and things can go haywire pretty quick. Law of entropy. It's nothing new. Just something that we kind of overlook whenever we have any sort of interaction. I think it would have been better if I hadn't realized it at the time, honestly. If I hadn't been thinking about that. It just was more so in the moment. Just, said I'll see you again. Because I'll be back over there. I don't know. It was pretty chill. Afterward, I walked back over to the paint walls and I finished my painting. I met some more people than usual, honestly, but this interaction in particular stuck with me for the rest of the day. How could someone go on despite, being in so much pain, being screwed over by the same institutions and people that he trusts, and having seen the worst of what this world has to offer? Having seen war in its uncensored, unabridged form. This isn't freaking Call of Duty or Halo we're talking here. He saw war. Real war. And if there's anything that I learned from a specific media franchise about, the world after it got nuked, it's that war never changes. Don't get me wrong, I've been through my fair share of struggles as well. I saw how the world and so much of what I trusted from institutions to people, sometimes can just overlook and couldn't care less about your personal struggles. That goes for anybody who ends up in a crappy situation at such a pivotal point in their life, in their 20s or something like that. I mean, you would think that a lot of people would, or, support systems will be with you, but it's not really what happens. The world just keeps on going. I could be like, oh, you gotta get yourself up, patch yourself up, get off your ASS and keep on going. It's not messing around. And to be honest, I guess to an extent that is right, but it would really go a long way if at least, somebody who's stuck in that situation gets a little bit of empathy. When you get into a situation that knocks you down like that, A lot of times, that's when villains are made. Can you really blame somebody for falling into some trap like that? Well, you gotta look into their psyche a bit more and really get a feel for what they're going through. I've been through my own personal struggles as well. After I got into my moped accident, I remember being sent to the hospital, just staring at the sky, wondering like, damn, that's how things turned out. Huh? This is where all my effort got me, staying up till 2 a.m. every night. I went over that whole situation in my last video at the end of 2024. That's why I haven't posted in a while, but I'm not going to go over that entire thing. I woke up seeing broken teeth in the mirror, seeing horrific pain all over my body for, every day. I don't want to sound like the victim, but it's genuinely how I felt. I'm sure a lot of people can say that, they don't want to sound like a victim, but they do want their problems to be heard. They do want to be understood. I still struggle knowing that my teeth have been, irreversibly damaged from a preventable scenario. I mean, yeah, I've gotten them fixed, but I can't eat apples. I like eating apples, off, like biting into it. Same thing with like peaches. And I'm so behind in school that I have grades that you really don't even want to know about, not gonna lie. Grades, by the way, were, what I felt the best about myself. Grades, by the way, they were a lot of my self-esteem. They're of everything about myself. The thing I liked the most is that I was always able to get good grades and keep on going. Having my own self-esteem broken down through so much, of my own mistakes over time and perfectionistic tendencies, as well as outside factors battering me. My broken teeth smile whenever I saw it, and by physical aspects, my smile was kind of the one thing I really liked about myself at the time. It was a dark part of my life. Still in a dark part of my life. What he went through was, that feeling of being left in the rain. Nowhere to turn to, nowhere to go. A lot of people go through it. A lot of people watching this video have gone through it. His was a case that not many people can relate to, but to come out of it, still as a human being, still alive, talking, walking, able to talk to some like goofy freaking bonehead like me. Yeah, that's real, not gonna lie. That's why being betrayed by so much of what he trusted, of everything that he put faith into, being left out in the rain, nowhere to go, nobody to turn to. He still maintained a respect for himself, a respect for humanity, respect for the things that truly matter. Those beyond the material and that which lasts forever, at least in human terms. Still had a wife, still had a belief in humanity and the ability of Black people to overcome their generational shackles on their ankles. And a belief that good people do exist out there, somewhere, even in this world darkness that he was plunged into. He still maintained his dignity and still kept walking through the world, despite how much crap was put upon him. Homeless people may look subhuman to some, but I'd be damned if he wasn't one of the most human and most down-to-earth people I've ever met, even if I only knew him for a short time. He was one of the strongest people I've ever met. And it's honestly scary how much strength this guy had to keep on going. Seriously. It goes way beyond physical strength. It's something that can't even be measured fully. What I present to you today is a shortened version of the story that he told me about himself. If you're going through something and you feel like every door is closed upon you, you feel betrayed by everything that you trusted, don't throw away your humanity or your life. If no one loves you, then I do. Yeah. I do. From far away, just like, yeah, you can put your trust in me. So that isn't true. And, there is somebody out there who loves you and you're appreciated in this world. Stick around. We do want you here. Even if it's the people who you haven't met yet, we still want you here. You're cool as heck. You have potential. We love you. Oh my God, dude, bro, I love your fit. Like, no joke. Please, just keep on walking. Just keep on walking. There's someone out there, there's a circumstance where you can succeed and you won't be overlooked. We'll always suffer. That's just part of being human. But That's where we can throw a Hail Mary. Just start saying, ugh, screw it. We'll make it anyway. I legitimately don't know what pushed this guy to keep on going, but he's one of the most interesting people that I've ever met. And it's not often that you get to hear from the perspective of those who are struggling and still persist, because they're often drowned out by the noise or they crack under the pressure. Stories of those who struggle often don't even get to see the light of day. I don't want Sergeant Wilson's story to go unheard. I made this video mostly to make sure that I kept the promise to him that, I remember his story, that I remember what he told me. It might just be like a bunch of rambling and yapping, as is every other video on this channel. I'm trying to cut down the speech, I swear, but I really wanted this to be more so of a diary style video that I see, all over YouTube. So I thought it'd be chill. We all suffer, but we all also have the ability to keep on going. You have it. You have the power. You just got to find what direction or view on life can kickstart it in you. It's your life, so just make it fun. When you get to your deathbed, you really want to be like, oh man, well, I'm totally just like, I'm feeling them, I lived, but I lived to the fullest. I experienced everything that this world had to offer before I can leave. At the very least, if you suffer, the one silver lining is that if you can manage to crawl out of that hole, by the time you get to, some point in your life when you're comfortable, you got to see so much of the human experience. You got to see all the different life paths. It's like 100%ing a video game. You have to see everything. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a life that's worth living, That's all I gotta say. Do you guys like my creature deck? This is it's pretty nice. Independent trucks, 99A Spitfire wheels, nice and tough. Good for when I'm doing tricks. I'm not doing them right now since my wrist is still healing from when I broke it. Creature deck. Oh my god, this thing is amazing, man. No sort of breaks or anything. Super durable. Feels great. Yeah, this is my trick board right here. That's my that was my first board. It's kind of like a hybrid sort of thing, except for those 78A with the clouds on it. I also have my cruiser board, which is inside my car trunk back inside the US currently. So I will not be seeing that until I go back. I remember this one time when I was at the belt line, and there was this guy who was running around with like a laundry basket and no shirt on, and he was high. And he kind of looked like Jesse Pinkman, but like older. But like he wasn't like smoking like meth or anything. He essentially taught me how to ollie. And my first perception of him was like, oh man, this guy's a little sketch. But then I realized later on, he was like, yo, dude, let me just see your board. And he named off all the parts on it and stuff. I'm like, oh shoot, this guy knows more about my board than I do. And yeah, and then he came down, let me watch me freaking skate, taught me how to ollie. Legit, he taught me how to ollie. This guy. I just call him Ollie God because I don't know his real name. Then I gave him the board again. And, a lot of people are like, what the heck? Why would you give that guy a board? Why would you give this guy a board? He looks freaking homeless. He looks like he's out of his mind, bro. He's just yapping and talking like crazy. I don't know. I mean, he was high, but he wasn't crazy. He wasn't a bad person. He took my board and he just taught another kid how to skate with it. How to skate a bowl. That's it. A little small bowl. They're too quick to judge people. And, I'm not immune to that. I'm occasionally still, I can, judge and, be a bit small-minded to things. But, that's why in this life, I want to expose myself to a lot of different things so that I'm able to understand it completely. I think I've done a pretty decent job at that so far, and I want to keep on doing it until I finally hit the groove. Cool. Capiche, kaposh. Yeah, we got it. Cool. All right. Next thing. I hope this was enjoyable. I hope it was cool. I hope it wasn't too much of a yap session. I know it's been a while since I posted. About 2 months now. I said I was going to post in February. I'm making this. It is March the 1st. Actually, the 2nd right now, technically. Yeah. Well, I hope this is a video. I am still working on the main video. This is mainly just something that I made off to the side, while I was in the airport, this script. And I really wanted to post this because I really wanted to make sure that his story was archived somewhere, at least what he told me. And there it is. It's on this YouTube channel. So yeah, thanks for your time. I'm glad that you listened to me telling about his story. And yeah, that's really about it. That's all I can say. Is there anything else I can add to this video? Do I need to add anything else? Happy first of the month. Okay, goodbye.